Hello, my name is Asna Fatima. I'm from Batspa University and I'm currently studying in Creative Computing Year 1 from Group 1. So these are the 10 exercises that were given as a task to us. Let's start with exercise number 1, which is coding is cool. We need to print the statement coding is cool. So assigning coding to the variable word 1 and then assigning the second word is to the variable word 2, assigning the third word cool to the variable word 3. Next, adding up all the word variable to get the desired output and then printing the variable. So C is the fourth variable and we'll add all the 3 variable values and in the end we are going to print C. So the output we get is coding is cool. Now moving on to the exercise number 2, simple sum. Here we declare the first variable, which is number 1 with the value 8. Then we declare the second variable, which is number 2 with the value 10. And now we add both the variable integer value, which is sum number 1 plus number 2. So their value is basically 10 plus 8. And then we print the sum scene. So let's run the code and see the output. The output we get is 18. Exercise number 3, we have two parts, which is biography, mandatory question, and biography, additional question. So let's start with mandatory. In the following code is used to store the dictionary into variable information. So inside the variable named as information, we store the information in the dictionary format, that is name, hometown, and age. Then the following code is used to print the above stored dictionary. To print this information that we have stored in dictionary form, we are going to use this printing format code to print the information. And once we run this, we're going to get the output as such. Now moving on to the additional. The following code is used to ask the user for the name and hometown. So we are first going to ask the user for their name and hometown, and then the code will repeatedly ask the user for age and integer. Next, to ask the user for their age, we need the input in integer form, which we are going to use as int, and we are going to use the while loop until and unless the user does not give their age in integer form. We'll use the while loop to keep asking them for their age, and once they give their age in integer form, we are going to use the break code to get out of the age. So this next, the information we store is in dictionary form under the variable person underscore information. The information is this, stored as a dictionary form, and the code used to print is the following code. So let's run this program to see the result. Full name is Asna Fatima, hometown Sharjah. Now here, if I write in string, it's not going to accept and ask me to write an integer. So let's try integer and then let's continue with exercise number 4. We have two sections again, advanced and mandatory. Let's start with mandatory. Here the following is the code for primitive mandatory question. Firstly, we'll write a code that asks the user what is the capital of France and wait for the response. The question will be assigned to the variable question. So question, we need the answer in string. So we are going to use str, input what is the capital of France. If the user's answer is correct, which is Paris, then the statement the answer is correct will appear on the screen. And if the user types the wrong answer, then the statement that the answer is wrong will appear on the screen. For this, we are going to use if else code to check whether the answer that the user has input is correct or wrong. So let's play this code now. Capital of France, Paris, and the answer is correct. Now let's move on to the advanced. Over here, this is the coding for primitive advanced requirement. So the first task here is to ignore capitalization. So the question what is capital of France is assigned to the variable question underscore 1. So once the user types the correct answer Paris, in order for the question to accept all the ways for typing Paris, we will use elif method. So if the user types Paris with capital P, we are going to we are going to make the program accept it and the answer will appear correct. If the user types Paris with capital all smalls, then also the program will accept the answer and the answer will appear correct. If the user types Paris with capital R, the answer will also appear correct. But if the user types any other answer except for the ones mentioned above, the answer will appear to be wrong. Now extending the program into the quiz for the capital of 10 European countries. So using this similar elif, if else and elif method, we are going to write like 9 more questions assigning to the variable question underscore 2, question underscore 3, question underscore 4, and so on until question underscore 11. So let's play this thing and see what the output is. What is the capital of France? Paris. What is the capital of Albania? You could see the question was being asked to me one after the other once the answer that I wrote is correct. So this was it for the exercise number 4. Now let's head towards the exercise number 5. In exercise number 5, we have two different sections. One is advanced, the other one is mandatory. So let's start with the mandatory one. So the following code is dictionary mapping of the number of the months at the number of the days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are the number of the months, and 31, 28, 31, 30. These are the number of the days. Okay, which each month contains. Like number 1 is January, so 31. 2 is February, 28 in a non-leap year. The following code asks the user to enter the number of the month they want to get the detail of. So we are going to use this method and ask the user to enter the number of month in the integer form. This code helps to check if the number entered by the user is valid or invalid. So the number which we require is between 1 to 12. So this code is going to check if the number the user has entered is between 1 to 12 or not. If the input is valid, then the answer will be displayed as the number of the month the user took and the number of the days it contains. And if the input entered is invalid, then the below statement will be printed asking the user to re-enter the valid value. So if the user has kept the number of month as maybe 13 or 14, then the month number entered is invalid. Please enter a number between 1 to 12 will be printed. And then if the input is not an integer value, then the statement will be printed asking the user to enter the value in an integer form, not a string form. So let's run this code. Number of months. So let's say as 6. And there you go. The month 6 contains of 30 days. Over here, the following, the same thing is there. We are storing the information dictionary form. Here, the change is that we are gonna first see if the user has selected the month as February, which is number 2. So this code checks if the month number entered is the number of the month February. So 2. So it's gonna check if the user has entered the number as 2, which is February. Okay, if they have, then this code will ask the user to input the year. So which year the February month is. So suppose the user said 2022. Then the next question will be asked if that year 2022 was a leap year or not. So the user has to say yes or no. If it is yes, then in the output, it will be displayed as 29 days, and if it's no, then it will be displayed as 28 days. And rest all formats are the same as the old one. So let's play this as 2. Here, let's say 2012. Let's go with yes. And here, there you go, 29 days. Now let's go forward towards exercise 6. Over here again, we have two sections. One is brute force attack additional, and the other one is mandatory. So let's start with mandatory. Following is the correct password that user needs to enter to get access. So the correct password is 12345, and then we need to see if the user has entered the correct password or not. So if the first user will be asked to input the password, that is enter the password using this code, and then this code over here, it's gonna check if the user has entered the correct password or not. If the user has entered the correct password, then the statement congrats, the access is granted will be printed, and the loop will be broken through the break code. This breaks the loop once the desired output is obtained. And if the user has not printed, like not entered the correct the password, then please try again will be printed, and this loop will go on until the user enters the correct password. So let's play this. Let's enter the wrong password first. There you go. Now let's try with the correct password. 1 2 3 4 5. There you go. Now let's go ahead with the additional one. This, it's the same thing. The correct password is 1 2 3 4 5. Here the maximum attempts a user can make is 5 attempts, and this here attempt is equal to 0. This shows the attempt that the user has already made. So while the attempt is less than the maximum attempt, the loop will keep on going. Once the attempts the user has made reaches to the maximum attempts, the loop is gonna end or break over here. So the user is asked to enter the password, and then this one is used to check if the password is correct or wrong. Once the user writes the correct password, then the loop is broken through the break code, or else if the user is typing the wrong password, then this code is used, that is attempt plus 1, which means it will keep on adding. Suppose like the user made the first attempt, so next attempt will show one more attempt is adding on to it. So it's going to be attempts made by the user is 1, and remaining attempts it's checked by maximum attempt minus the attempts that the user made. So if the remaining attempts will come up to 0, then this statement will be printed that the incorrect password has reached the maximum number of attempts, and the authorities has been alerted, and the loop will be broken over here. So let's try this out. 1 2 3 8. So I have 4 more attempts left. Let's go with wrong password again, and again the wrong password, again the wrong password, and the last attempt also let's go with the wrong password. So here they're telling me that authorities have been alerted, and it's wrong. If I would have like written the correct password over here, then I would have gotten the access, but I didn't. So let's continue with the exercise number 7. Okay, so exercise number 7, which is some counting over here, counting up from 0 to 50. So it's gonna like increase 1 1. So we're gonna write positive 1 as it's counting up. So it's gonna go like 1 2 3. And we are counting down. It means like 50 49 and 48. So we're gonna use the negative number, which is like negative 1. And then over here again counting up from 30 to 50, which means increasement of one number. So we're gonna use positive 1. Over here again counting down from 50 to 10, which is negative like decreasement of 2 over here, which means we're gonna minus 2. And we're counting down, so it's gonna be negative 2. Counting up from 100 to 20, increasement of 5. So over here as it's counting up, we're gonna write 5 because it's increasing. We're gonna write positive 5. So let's play and see the output over here. There we go. Here these are the output for counting up from 50 to 100, then 50 to 0, counting down, then 30 to 50, counting up, then counting down 50 to 10, decreasement of 2, and then counting up 100 to 200, increasement of 5. Now let's go ahead with exercise number 8. Over here we have like 2 sections. One is optional and one is mandatory. Let's start with mandatory. Over here we need to search the name. So this is the list of the name, and we need to search the name Sam. So this code is basically used to see if the name which we need to search is mentioned or not. So over here, if the name that we need to search is mentioned, then this statement is printed that the name is found in the list, and if it's not mentioned, then the statement is printed that the name is not found in the list. So over here the name Sam, which is in the list. So let's see what the output would be. Sam is found in the list. Now let's go with the optional one. Here it's the same thing, but over here we are going to ask the user to input the name which they are looking for. So if the user has inputted a name which is existing in the list, then the statement that the name is found in the list will be printed, and if the name which the user has inputted is not mentioned in the list, then the statement that the name is not found in the list will be put up. So let's try with not mentioned in the list, which is my name. So it was not found in the list. If we want to find a name which was found in the list, so let's like try writing Sam, which is there in the list. So it was found in the. Let's continue with the exercise number 9, which is hello.py. So over here, this is a code that prints hello to console, and this one is the main code that calls the hello function to get executed. And the below text checks if the script is being run directly or not. Okay, so yeah, let's try running this, and we'll get the output as hello. Next, let's go to the last one, which is it even. So the below code determines if a number is even or odd. So this code is going to check if this whole code is going to check if the number is even or not. So if the number is divisible by 2, then the statement is printed that the number is even, and if it's not divisible by 2, then the statement is printed that the number is odd. And then this one is the main code. So over here, first thing first, user will be told that the program is started, and the program is waiting for the user to type an input. And then this one asks the user to enter a number in the form of integers. And then this one runs or calls the above code, this code, to check whether the number is even or odd. And then this one assures the user that the process has been taken, and in the end, the result is being printed that if the number is even or odd. Now over here, if there is a value error, as over here, the input is only accepted by the program. So if the user types the number in the form of a string or maybe float, the program will not accept it, and there will be a value error which will ask the user to again input the number in integer form. At the last, this code is used to call the main function to run the program directly. Okay, and it also checks whether the program is being executed directly or not. So let's run this program. Let's go with the number 4, and the number 4 is an even number. So that's it. Thank you.